Jerry Brown, the Democratic governor of California, was apparently working behind the scenes, doing everything he could to make sure that the single-payer bill didn't get to his desk. So it got over a few hurdles, but then it was killed by Anthony Rendon, a corporate zealot and a scumbag. But apparently Jerry Brown was rooting for this thing to not get to his desk because he didn't want to sign it if it did. So here's what he said about single-payer recently. I think this was in March. This is Jerry Brown, the governor. Where do you get the extra money? This is the whole question. I don't even get, how do you do that? So, a Democrat governor saying, yeah, well, where you get I can't afford it. Pie in the sky, liberals, fairy dusters. Yeah. Are you crazy? You can't afford this. Interesting. Well, here we have a video clip for you. This is from 1992. This is when Jerry Brown was running for president, and he had quite a good answer to that question. And in fact, he had an answer to any questions that one might have about single payer.
My preference is that we create a single system, put everyone under a universal healthcare system. We treat healthcare not as a commodity to be played with for profit, but rather the right of every American citizen when they're born. And there's a model in Canada. Obviously, we want to make it something more attuned to our own country. But when I see in Canada that they pay $500 less per person, that they cover every citizen, and that they live 2 years longer and their infant mortality is 50% less, then I see a model. Here's what it is. You cut out all the private health insurance. You have one single payer, either at the national level or through the 50 states, and that one single payer will be the one that negotiates with the doctors, the hospitals, and the other providers. And since you have only one source of income in the whole medical establishment, you can drive down the costs. With the holding down of the costs, you can eliminate the intermediary, the middleman, the bureaucracy. In some of these hospitals, there's more people doing the billing than there are in direct patient care on an 8-hour shift. It doesn't make any sense. But through a single payer, as we've seen in Canada, you can eliminate tremendous amounts of paperwork, both for the doctors, the hospitals, and the part of the insurance companies.
Wow. That guy nailed it back in 1992. Single payer costs less. It costs less. Say it with me. It costs less. So what's he talking about? Where are we going to get the money? Where are we going to get the money for our current system? You have an unnecessary, rapacious, for-profit middleman price gouging everybody. Where are we going to get the money for that? Nobody ever says that. No, nobody ever says that. When it comes to single payer, which costs less and covers everybody, yeah, we're going to get the money. Yeah. Weird. When Democrats, get involved in politics when they're younger, they tend to be idealistic in a positive sense. They tend to want to create a better society, fix problems, but then the longer they're in power, the more that corporate money gets to them, the more they get used to the status quo and business as usual, and then eventually you wind up with a Hillary Clinton-like character and a Jerry Brown-like character who they turn on basic progressive and liberal priorities. Again, this isn't a tough one. This isn't like, oh man, let's think about it. Hey, what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on this? Everybody's is valid. Let's talk about it like it's up in the air and we don't have the answers. No, anybody who cares about the actual numbers and facts and the science on this, the studies on this, when you compare the U.S. to the rest of the modern world and their systems versus our system, they cover more people, they cover everybody and pay less and have better outcomes. Where's the debate? Where is the goddamn debate? There is no debate. It's the private health insurance companies that have bought the government, bought politicians, Republican and Democratic, and big pharma, and it's big money in politics that has led us to this point. So Jerry Brown, shame on you. Bring back the Jerry Brown from 1992.